Where we are as African.
3 candidates, 4 rounds of questions, focus trained on one seat, the African Union Commission chair.
Dear candidates, your question.
It was a high-stakes moment as Kenya's former Prime Minister Raila Odinga, Djibouti's Foreign Minister Mahmoud Ali Yusuf, and Madagascar's former Foreign Minister Richard Randriamandrato faced off in a 2-hour debate broadcast live across the continent.
The issue of funding.
Odinga, drawing on his extensive experience as the AU's High Representative for Infrastructure, proposed bold reforms.
In the issue of funding, which has been a major challenge, and look at other alternative sources of funding. When I was there as High Rep on infrastructure development, we came up with a proposal to set up an infrastructure fund for Africa, and using the African resources, because many of African countries have got a lot of money in sovereign funds, from which the AU can actually borrow without having to pay so much high interest. And this will help AU actually to spearhead the process of constructing some of these infrastructures.
Odinga also advocated for a more inclusive approach to silencing guns by 2035, addressing root causes like poverty, societal exclusion and ethnic divides. Djibouti's Yusuf highlighted financial autonomy for the AU and emphasized climate resilience and trade facilitation.
Our heads of state said we will pay 0.2% of eligible import to the Commission. Only 17 countries, 17, are applying and abiding by that rule. It has to change. I'm not going to impose that on our leaders. It's not my intention, but I will advocate for it. It's very important to have, that particular issue of mobilizing and fostering financing be resolved immediately.
Madagascar's Randriamandrato, meanwhile, underscored grassroots development and the African continental free trade area as game changers. The debate also tackled Africa's representation at the United Nations. Odinga pushed for 2 permanent seats on the Security Council, citing historical injustices.
Issues of financing and financial institutions of the African Union, questions that have to do with the participation of the civil society and the diaspora, the questions that are linked to information and digital technology. I'm sorry, we did not have time to.
The candidates' public engagement marked a break from the AU's traditional secretive process. With the election set for February 2025, the debate has set the stage for what is shaping up to be a pivotal leadership contest.
I am ready to work for Africa. There are reforms that will be necessary so that AU can work more effectively. One of these reforms will be financial reforms, so that we are able to bring in the African private sector into the funding. I mentioned also the issue of sovereign funds that we can use. We can create a fund that will enable AU to do all its money work. Then there's issue of 0.2% of the duty, which only 17 countries are remitting. I will work to ensure that all the countries actually pay their dues to the Union.
A debate that had the continent waiting with bated breath, with each candidate hoping to have convinced the member states. The next AUC chairperson will guide Africa's premier intergovernmental body in tackling the continent's most pressing challenges.
The response from the last.
As the candidates prepare for further engagements, all eyes are now on February 2025, when member states will cast their votes. Brian Amuai, K24, Nairobi.